on X on Smart24 TV now, and Facebook on Smart24 TV official is where you can get to us, reach out to us, and who knows, we could have a chat. Well, we are always here to get you inspired every day that goes by from Monday to Friday. And of course, I understand we just left with a few days. And when I was coming, someone told me, mwezi gugwao kati Saturday jam. Like everyone is rushing to work so that they can be seen as very hardworking. But regardless, whatever situation you're going through, I know not every month is a month for everyone. So definitely, I believe there are shortcomings. There's some little bit of challenges that you have. Maybe you could have had, the night couldn't have been well. But anyway, we're always here to get you inspired and motivated. Let's get to it, and we shall be right back. Well, of course, the beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. Once you learn something, make it a point that you share. Once you share knowledge, there's something they used to tell us while we're in school, that when you share, when you learn something and you share it, the more you get to understand it, the better.
Yeah, sharing knowledge, because sometimes they say you can't give out what you don't have, which is okay. But the rule, of course, exposing the little that you've gotten, it helps you, because why actually they say that it helps you understand it better is because it puts you at a position of being a master over to somebody over something. So that masterhood will drive you, will create a hunger in you to search for more knowledge in line with that, because of the impact you've created as you shared that. But it's bad if you teach it to somebody and you don't feel in any way that you need to actually go further and make more research on that. That means you will get stunted. That's what they call you'll just be puffed up. In other words, knowledge puffeth up. So you will not have to because you feel too proud to go back and such. So your ego is shadowing your ability to get exposed to new knowledge in a given dimension. That's what I feel. That's what actually they meant, that when you teach it to somebody, you learn it better. Because the hunger it creates in you to go back and make more research and become an expert.
And it feels good teaching, sharing knowledge with people.
Yeah, it does.
It makes you look
superior. Yeah, it's a good feeling, but as long as that is going to drive you to get to depth of that, because at some point in life you're going to meet a class of people that is way different from the people you taught this time around. And the reason why you're accessing this class of people is because the people you initially taught have referred you, have recommended you to these people. So you need to prove that you are really worth meeting these people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might create a huge shame and crumble you back in terms of knowledge.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, here Steve Jobs says that the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And if you haven't found what you love, wait.
I remember.
Keep looking.
I remember the late Eli Tumwine actually said, kind of mentioned something related to that. When you do what you love and love what you do.
Do what you love and love what you do.
Yeah. So that should be your sole purpose, loving what you do. I mean, because now, let me tell you, by the way, what is destroying us, spoiling us, and we're having very many mental issues. It's just that we are in a space where people do not do what they like, what they love, actually.
Yeah, because we do to survive.
We do to survive, because the thing you love, you feel like when you start doing it, it won't pay off as much.
Now that brings us to the aspect of what do we spend our time on in most cases? Because the reason why you reach a point of doing something from a survival perspective, you look into the time you wasted in the past, and it can't be redeemed because of the current responsibilities which are demanding currently. So at some point, it's a root thing, because at the age of 10 years. What do you want to be in the first place? So that's why I'm so in love with this generation, the youngsters of this generation. They have whatever it takes. Because I'm reading about people who are 10 years. Right now, somebody who is in primary level, they still have a huge chance ahead of them, because we're in a time where career guidance, the fact that even the curriculum is yet to be changed. I mean, a child can easily get to discover themselves at a very tender age, tender stage, and that's already money.
I've seen young fashionistas, very young, and actually doing fashion, and it's quite incredible. Some are doing art, some are into music. We've seen some of the young talents around here in Uganda. They're dancing, they're singing.
Exactly.
So you can do both. That is what I can say. Unlike our days where you would, if it was school, it is school. That is it. The only time you go and maybe just do it for leisure, you just go and play football for just leisure.
Yeah, because we are starting to.
But now we see people, fresh kid is having a concert while on holiday. When he goes to school, it's school.
It's cool. Yeah.
And he's getting money out of it. That is what we want.
Yeah, that's what matters, because it's the money you're looking for while you go to school. But the challenge comes in that we are so, it's more of the vision is to pass the exam, but not to pass what the exam the world is yet to set for you. Because the physical, the exam on paper, that's why it's just theory.
It's just theory.
But the practical exam, it's what the world sets for you. But but I'm glad we are waking up.
And of course, I've been seeing here in the news, they've increased the cut-off points for senior 5 students. And I was asking someone out there, where does that leave for a student who has been, and we've seen forgeries here. Forgery of a secondary school teacher that has been detained. Students forged the PE results. I mean, because now there is pressure. Your child wants to go to Navisusta, to Ntare, to Budo. People are forging to get them there.
Yeah, proud.
Get them, the pressure is too much. These kids, if you don't go to this school, so it leads me to, if I got, I don't know, senior 4, maybe 70, maybe close to 60 points, or is it aggregate, or 50? Where does that leave me?
And of course, from the academic perspective, you're considered a failure, but that means you out there, you can still make out something for yourself. That a grade cannot determine your life. Just a grade on paper. Then the bonus tip here, somebody here says that read biographies and watch interviews of successful entrepreneurs, learn from their experiences, and this can be incredibly valuable. You see, last time I was interacting with somebody and he was telling me something. about, you see, when you watch and read, this knowledge you obtain over time can be translated into monetary value in the long run. And this person is telling me of a career whereby it's paying you about 2.5 million, and there are not so many people that are coming into this. Last Friday, and I asked myself that the career line is describing is actually not found in any universities taught, like a course or something. And the only way you can access the knowledge is by going to the internet, watch documentaries about this. And I'm asking myself, okay, wow, this is interesting. How much time does somebody spend when you're on your phone? What are you spending the time with? You are on different applications. You are on TikTok. You are on Twitter. And and if you're to ask, that's really your time. Even at work, you're on the phone doing whatever it takes. I mean, evaluate yourself, because it explains a lot to do. Because trust me, where we are heading, the world we are heading in, it's going to be about what do you know. It's no longer about gambling around with things, So, I mean, and this should be quite a huge eye-opening, most especially to people in Uganda, in Africa. We are not so much versed with that researching out new things. We are so much endowed in comfort zones of, because we are used to dependency. Because a huge percentage of Africans are dependent on people. Talking about the children. You are 22 years, but you're still surviving on your parents. Yet by 16, you must be out in what the real life is. By 16, you should be able to sustain yourself. If it's a lady side, you know that you have about 4 guys that, the dependency syndrome is too much. And that's why you won't care that when you get your mobile phone, all you will have to do is do TikTok the whole day and ask yourself, okay, with whatever time you've spent on your phone, what have you added to yourself? We are so comfortable, first of all, with doing what we already know, and we feel like we have reached. Yet, the world demands extraordinary skills. Where are we heading? Because, artificial intelligence is here. And that's why I'm so grateful for artificial intelligence. It's going to make majority wake up, get to realize that I have to do something. It's time, we shall see a time where somebody will definitely reach out there and say, how can I make a difference? So they'll start using their YouTube well, they'll start using their TikTok well, not just watching things. I mean, all those obscene, which is becoming a big trend here. And by the way, it's quite annoying when you take a look at that.
Well, they say where your treasure is where your heart is.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, heading into our topic of discussion, data security, data privacy for small businesses. Yeah. As of last year, data crime, what we can consider cybercrime, was recorded at 19.5 billion Ugandan shillings. And the worrying fact is that on the 19 billion, rather, only 164 was recovered. Because we see incidences where somebody can access your data for your patients, if you're your clinic, your data for your customers, and some of them can actually go ahead to access your system, and they make an order, and before you know it, it comes in, and you didn't even approve this from a shipping company, and that is already putting you into huge losses. Yeah, I don't know what you think about that.
Well, of course, I think for Ugandans, actually, it takes something to happen to you first to just be alert.
To be alert.
But even with the different
shouldn't be that way.
fraud cases that we've had, some people are still reluctant. People do not have, strong firewalls for their softwares, and they do not have antivirus, they don't have strong password, someone doesn't log out. That sort of carelessness. I don't want to say it, not sound rude, but that's carelessness. That's what I think. You have to make sure, you have to understand that this is your life.
Absolutely. You
have all the documents in here, you have all the data for your patients, for your customers. When it's lost, what are you going to say? You remember, now I'm sorry, I'm going to divert you to a movie. The movie we recently, the one that they were targeting vulnerable and old people. Listen, most of them do not know a lot of much to do with technology. So they get in, the beekeeper, they get in, they hack, they ask you a few questions, and the next thing you know, you're out of cash. All your bank accounts are claimed to zero.
Exactly.
So people have to be well versed with the kind of fraudulence that is around, scams that are around. You cannot get a random call and you oblige to whatever instructions they're giving you for crying out loud. It's not your friend or yeah. And of course you have to know if it's a telecommunication company, there's always a number that is odd. That's it. You cannot fall for trickery.
Yeah, you're actually very right. And the fact that many people don't realize, most especially for intermediary enterprises, they don't feel the need for having a cybersecurity roadmap, because probably it's some sort of an extra cost that comes along with that.
Yeah.
But remember, whenever somebody can access your data, your customers, your patients, there is a fee that you have to pay to recover this data.
Oh yeah,
so
they come with threats.
Yeah, because they're threats, ransom, So the better way to avoid all this is to ensure that there is a need to have this the cyber roadmap out there.
How many people actually do go for this cyber,
No, they don't go because in the first place, not so many businesses are even digitized. They're not moving from that system. Yeah, but yet, it's, so we are just put in a scenario whereby, because for those that have been able to have the digital experience, are seeing the value, being obtained. But away from the value, there is a price for that value. The price to protect that value that you've obtained because you've went digital. But still, for you to keep enjoying that value, you need to be aware that you're doing electronic transactions. Somebody is really watching transactions because the previous year, 60% of most of these cyber crimes were targeting small businesses, and the research still shows that as the years proceed, actually starting probably this year, they're now reaching 70%. So that means if you're out there doing your business, which has a turnover of about 360 million annually, just so you have a huge target of fraud. So you have to be vigilant, and also even the customers actually, the customers also that ascribe to these businesses also have to be aware, because somebody can still use your phone and make an order through my business, and I don't have and that's a loss on your side as a customer. And if you as a customer, you're discontented because you think that I made an order that I forced you to buy a commodity you hadn't ordered. Now you've already created an enmity between me and my customer.
Yeah, true.
You see, so but why is it happening? Because the customer, he or herself, they're also ignorant about these crimes. So data privacy is actually it's becoming a huge challenge to protect data because data is the new gold.
Yeah, it's the new gold.
So the protection mechanisms are quite hard today. They're quite a little bit challenging, and that's why we shall later on we shall be having a cybersecurity expert, CEO of a cybersecurity company, coming in down to break down why is it so hard to keep data in this data age, because there are quite lots of controls, and you find that those that are into this space are really finding it hard every day, a case after case. But the question is, what is the success rate? And I can only measure this by taking a look at the recovery rates. Because if 19.5 billion is lost and only 164 is recovered, 164 million is recovered, out of 19 billion is recovered. Maybe the advantage which it can bring is that we're now having people aware that they are able to report cases. Cases are increasing.
But then
not the fraud cases, but cases being reported to the different cyber agents are increasing. How many people are getting aware that, hey, I have a right to this? if this happened to me, I have to report it to the authorities that need to know this.
Well, of course, you see, actually, it gets me to the fact that actually some people are really aware about the privacy and all that. It's just that people are using it for the wrong reasons. I mean, someone, is tracking someone to do something instead of protecting their
privacy.
Their privacy at the end of the day. Someone pays someone to track someone for them. Track their movements and all that. It's not necessary.
But that's if it doesn't involve money or something. I mean, that is.
But of course, some actually do. Yeah, some do actually track their spouses and maybe siblings and how they,
That is okay. That's a family-related issue. But anything that has to do with figures, that's very crucial, and it's the biggest. And when somebody can access your data. They can easily manipulate that data and sell it to her. They put it on bid.
Yeah.
Who's the highest bidder? And you know why they're doing this? It's simply because they just want to know your formula of how you run your company. How are you making all these much profits? If it's the product you're developing and they get this formula, they can, in the next few days, they are already manufacturing your very own product. And they can never get a copyright, a patent right. And where are you going to start from? Because I can tell you, okay, how sure that I'm also genius enough. Probably they're just going to add something in it and put you out of business before you know it. So that is something that somebody needs to be, we all need to be very aware, awakened, in other words. Our consciousness has to be awakened in such a time, most especially for business owners, because we always feel like we don't need this to know about the data privacy.
Oh, yeah, because I've seen people operating in actually big organizations, not actually, it's big businesses actually, those that maybe do wholesale, but then I think they just do transaction, physically. You give them money, they write in their book. For some it could be like it's an advantage, But of course I want to be able to go somewhere and I get a receipt. Yeah. They enter in the value of the money, they give me back my balance and I get a receipt.
Yeah.
That is evident enough. But then you find, okay, it's just that maybe the people that enter these businesses, some of them are a little bit uneducated. They do not know, they know the basics, they know the analog way. So they need, I don't know why children are not helping out their parents. Yeah, because then there was that they've gone to school. So I believe it starts with the family. Yeah, you tell your uncle, your father, there is this thing, you can do A, B, C, and D. So we have not taken initiative to educate these people that have been in businesses for quite some time. Yeah, so I think that is why we still have those scenarios. Even if the system has been set up for you, you don't know how it operates.
Absolutely.
The moment you're hacked, you've given up on technology.
Absolutely. Information is quite key. Well, let's take a break for now. And of course, we're returning with the business and sports and entertainment.